What does it mean when God says in the Quran there is no compulsion in religion?
The verse cited in this respect is in the second chapter of the Quran, the 256th verse. When it says no compulsion in religion, this is stated in an absolute manner. And then the verse continues to say, قَدْ تَبَيَّنَ الرُّشْدُ مِنَ الْغَيِّ. The guidance has been made plain and distinct from the error. And so it is, what seems to be implied here is that God has made his message plain. The truth and error are now distinct. And there is no need to compel anyone to be this or that. In fact, it would be wrong to compel anyone. If you compel somebody to be a Muslim, then they wouldn't be really a Muslim, because to be Muslim means you have to be a Muslim at heart. The classical Muslim scholars said that it involves the affirmation by the tongue and also the conviction of the mind. The two things have to come together. So you can only force a person to confess verbally and say, yes, I'm a Muslim. Yes, I declare the kalima of Islam. But then in their hearts, in their minds, the belief could be something contrary to that. So since that is what is the core and that was what is required, then how can you compel somebody to be a Muslim? It's really impossible. You're just fooling yourself if you think you'll compel somebody to be a Muslim.
Now coming to the question of La Ikrah fi Din, chapter 2, verse 256. There is no compulsion in religion, but truth stands out clear from error. Here means you cannot force anyone to accept Islam at the point of the sword. I cannot take a gun and put on his forehead and say, accept Islam. It's not allowed. I cannot force anyone, but when I give the logical reasons, for example, doctor says, you have diabetes, don't have sugar. Oh, doctor is forcing me not to have sugar. Yes, he's compelling me. If I don't want to listen to doctor, I can go and yet have chocolate.
Quoted the Quranic verse, La ikraha fi din, which means there is no compulsion in religion. Compulsion is worthless. At the point of the gun or the knife, you force somebody to say, read the Shahada, the Kalima, the Creed of Islam, and the man is forced to read. What is it worth? Nothing. There is no compulsion in religion. But the insinuation is that the Muslims were doing compulsion. I said, look, my brother, Sharosh, you are a proof that the Muslims didn't use any compulsion for 1,400 years.
As they say to you, there's a verse in the Quran, it says, La ikraha fi din. There is no compulsion in religion. But this is a false statement. This was a verse, or Muhammad he made, in the opposite direction, which means you cannot force your children not to accept Islam. It's not about the Muslims. And the Muslims, they quote this verse also, always to you, because you are ignorant, you do not know what Islam is about. But all of us, we knew that Muhammad, he says it clearly, that he been ordered to fight and kill all mankind until they convert to Islam. And when we say all mankind, we confirm here all mankind who they are not Muslims, because Muhammad will not fight Muslims. So here Muhammad, you see, and this is very authentic according to Muslims, not according to me. Muhammad, he confirmed that he have an order from Allah to fight and kill every single human being who don't accept Allah as God and him as a prophet. Can the Muslim, they say this is fake? They cannot. Can they say this is weak? They cannot. Can they say we reject it? They cannot. And I challenge any Muslim to say I don't accept it. So when they quote for you this verse in chapter 2, verse number 256, this is just to fool you and not to mention to you, this is the prophet, he said to the children of the non-Muslims, or to the non-Muslim family, saying to them, you cannot force your children not to accept Islam, not the opposite. Muhammad, he says, the one who leave his religion, kill him. So how we can match this, if this verse speaking really about there is no no enforcement to anyone to accept Islam, then how you say I've been ordered to command it to kill all mankind until they say, I mean, which one is, one of them is not valid then. So what happened truly is Muhammad making a verse saying you cannot force your children not to convert to Islam, but I can force all mankind to convert to Islam. Not only Muhammad, he said that Muhammad, he made it clear that he is a terrorist. Muhammad, he says, I've been victorious by terror, to the point people look how peaceful Muhammad is. They used to be terrified even if Muhammad in a distance of a month. This is how much peaceful he is. Why people will be terrified if Jesus a 1 month distance from them? Nobody will be terrified. Nobody will be terrified. But because Muhammad is a terrorist, Muhammad saying to us, my enemies, I was victorious by terror, frighten my enemies from a distance of a month. Imagine how bad his reputation as a terrorist.